Welcome back to Court Vision. I'm Luke Backman with Vincent Zakian. We talked about the Eastern Conference last time. Now let's get to the real fun of it. While the Eastern Conference has a couple, maybe a few teams that can really make some noise and are the dominant teams, the West, hey, it's the wild, wild West for a reason. We're going to discuss that here on Court Vision, going over our standings and looking at each team we have in the standings, at why we have them ranked where we are and everything about it. Vince, how are you doing today? How are you feeling about talking about the Western Conference?
I'm great. I'm really excited for this. I think there's five, maybe six teams that have like an actual case to go to an NBA Finals this year. Obviously, I think there's just more talent, and it's kind of been that way in the West for a long time with a couple off years in there. Maybe like when the Celtics won the title or something like that. But it's just always kind of been top heavy in the East and then extremely, deep in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to talk about it. I think there's a lot more amazing human interest stories in the West too that we can get to, but it's very exciting, and this is why I do it.
100%. It feels like in the West, too, there's a mix of legends that are still in the game and a
Hmm.
young core that is coming that might take over the NBA for a long time. And I
Yep.
think right there we can segue into our number one seed because I know where I'm going with that. I'm going with the Oklahoma City Thunder for my one seed. I mean, we talk about a young core that might dominate. You got the OKC Big Three: Shea, Chet, J Dub. I mean, they re-signed all three of them, so there's going to be no issues with money. Obviously, that might be an
Yep.
issue with years and everything. In a few years, at the end of the contract, how they're dealing with salary cap. But for this season, that will not be an issue. They're bringing back all of those guys, and a lot of these guys are young on the bench. I mean, you think about it, Alex Caruso might be their oldest slash, biggest veteran who's been around the longest, and he played incredible last season. So this,
Hmm.
truthfully, this Oklahoma City team looks like they are a dynasty for the next 4 to 5 years. This team should contend for not only Western Conference Finals but NBA Finals appearances every single year for the next 5 years. And they were so dominant in the regular season last year. Even if they take a little step back, I still think they're going to be that number one seed. Even if they have a little NBA Finals hangover, I'm still rolling with the Thunder for number one.
I completely agree. This is really going to be their last year before the contracts kick in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The max extensions for Chet and J Dub start next year. Right now, Isaiah Hartenstein is the second. He's going to make the second most money this year for them. And I rolled with them all of last year. They were like historically dominant, and I think because they play in Oklahoma City, maybe people aren't obsessed with like Jets game yet. I think they were actually kind of overlooked. I think
Okay.
people maybe still have bought into the whole superstar thing, but they won with their depth, their tenacity. Maybe they get away with some stuff on the defensive end, but I think that's all part of what makes them great. And yeah, I do have one interesting thing to ask you. They're gonna have to lose some players, right?
Yeah.
Who outside of the big three, Chet, J Dub, Shea, is there one player who you think is like a must keep? Because I have an answer,
Okay.
but they're gonna have to make some sacrifices. Who do you think is like their must keep, and they're gonna have to let go of some other guys?
Their must keep for me, and I've thought about this too, and I have a friend who's a huge Thunder fan, and I might be a little biased because I've heard him give this answer a lot of the times. Lou Dort. I think Lou
Ooh,
Dort. He's been around. I think honestly the longest. Him and Shea might
yes.
be two of the longest tenured guys on the Thunder team. I think when you
Hmm.
talk about culture, I think Shea's even mentioned this. It might have been in his MVP speech when he said, "Hey, me and Lou were here when we were losing 60 plus games a year." And granted,
Hmm.
culture and everything is good enough for a team, and they've built enough of a culture where if they did lose Lou Dort, it wouldn't be a total blow and it wouldn't blow this whole thing up. But what he brings defensively, I mean, people in OKC call him the Dorture Chamber for a reason.
Yep.
And offensively, he can hit you a few threes and he can show out every other few games and be like, okay, he made a difference today. He's one of the reasons why they might get this win. So I think Lou Dort, in my opinion, is maybe their biggest piece. I love Hartenstein. I love that. I just think from the standpoint, if he's been there from the beginning, the fans love him, the team loves him. If they were to get rid of Lou Dort, I think it'd
Hmm.
mess up a little bit of the chemistry. Nothing that they couldn't get back, but I think he's a huge and very underrated piece to that team. What about you?
Yeah. I I keep thinking about Kason Wallace as that
Yeah.
piece because he's honestly, realistically speaking, he's when he becomes a free agent, if he makes it to free agency, if he doesn't sign an extension, there's going to be a team that's going to throw an insane amount of money at Kayson
Yep.
Wallace. I think he's like 22. He's like our age, right?
Uh-huh.
And he is already one of the best defenders in the league. He was one of the guys who, when he would get in the game for OKC last year, like the game would change. It was kind of similar with Caruso. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I think it's really interesting. I also have this: is Chet adding muscle the new Ben Simmons adding a jumper?
That could be. Yeah,
I think it is.
it
I
might
think it
be.
is.
Yeah. Now that I've never thought about that, but it really might be.
Yeah. And not that it's not as dire as that. Like, I think it was probably more important for Ben Simmons to have a jumper than it is for Chet to be yoked. But just something to keep your eye on every offseason.
Right. And we've seen it. I mean, Chet, when he was injured for that entire year, it was because he didn't have enough muscle in a pickup game, and LeBron kind of gave him a little forearm, and he injured himself. These are things that he's one bad twist of an ankle or one guy rolling on or something in the post, getting back down away from a major injury, and we saw how big of a factor Chet is. So that's definitely, I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. I like that. I like that comparison a lot. Vincent, where are you going for number 2?
Denver Nuggets.
Yep.
I think they had the best offseason of any team in the NBA. I cannot say enough about swapping Cam Johnson, even though you lose a pick. Swapping Cam Johnson for Michael Porter it's not only an upgrade, like from a player standpoint. Cam Johnson, I think, much better off the dribble. Michael Porter Jr. every game he played for the Nuggets was just, it felt disappointing.
Yeah.
And sometimes he had amazing games. Like, that dude can shoot the lights out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's 6'10", has like one of the biggest wingspans there is, and still couldn't guard, and really offered you nothing off the ball. Didn't really offer much passing. He was, again, when he was on, sometimes he didn't take good shots, but when he was on, he was a lights out shooter. With Cam Johnson, you get so much more, I think, in the way of IQ, and the way that's going to work with Jokic. I think it's going to be deadly. They get Bruce Brown back at kind of a bargain rate, considering they let him walk because they couldn't pay him a ton of money, and now he's making like $2-3 million to come back and play for them. That's huge. Hardaway's a good pickup for depth. Valanciunas is, it's good to have depth behind Jokic. I mean, what's killed the Nuggets in the past years has been non-Jokic minutes, right?
Yep.
And I think that's huge for them. They have the best player in the league, in my opinion. We can say, we can talk about Shea, Luka, Giannis, whatever. I think Jokic is still the best player in the league. I think he pretty much overperforms every year. Like, he gets the most out of the select Nuggets team every year. So that's how I feel about them. Where'd you go with the 2 seed, Luke?
I went same with you, Nuggets, and for all the same reasons you said. Their offseason, incredible, being able to trade Cam Johnson essentially for Michael Porter Jr. I think that's an upgrade for them. And Michael Porter Jr., he can have a really good season in Brooklyn. I think Cam Johnson in that offense for Denver is an upgrade. They have Jokic, and we talked about this with Milwaukee and Giannis. Hey, you put these guys up because they have Jokic, but they have such a whole roster and a complete roster. You can't see them not being one of the top echelon teams, not only in the Western Conference, but the entire league. And I think it'll be something, just, a little mention, the fact that all the head coach drama is sorted out. It seemed like a lot of the guys, maybe even Nikola Jokic, was against Michael Malone last year. It didn't like Malone. He was out of there right before the playoffs. The interim head coach, who I'm forgetting the name of, all of a sudden, I believe they elevated him. So it seems like all that drama is good. And I know Michael Malone, as a Knicks fan, people thought about Malone as the guy for the Knicks job. Well, he had some of the same issues that Tibbs had. Wouldn't play the young guys, wouldn't always rely on bench, and then offensively kind of just said, hey, Jokic, figure something out. We'll give it to you at the top of the key, and you figure out our offense from there. So I think for the Nuggets, revamped roster, should have better schemes on offense this year. You still got Jokic, Gordon, Christian Brown, who I think Brown will take a big step up and has to for the team if they want to go where they want to go. And then, of course, you also got Jamal Murray, the 1-2 punch of Murray and Jokic, Murray. I mean, no one wants to play these guys in a 7-game series. It's just matter of fact, they pushed OKC to their limit last year and then got demolished in Game 7, but they were really the only team other than Indiana to give them a real run for their money. So I'm right there with you. You said all the points exactly that I had. Nuggets number 2.
Sorry, Luke. Did you see at Nuggets Mania Day was yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
And Jokic is like, I lost all my friends. He's like naming the guys he lost. It's like Russell Westbrook, Dario Saric, some others. Did not mention Michael Porter Jr., who we played with for 6 years, 7 years?
Yeah.
Like, it was interesting. And also David Adelman is the coach of the Nuggets, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I thought that was interesting too, because just the fact that I think it might have been mutual that Porter wasn't a big fan of being in Denver, and probably Jokic wasn't a big fan of Porter, because, I mean, we talked about this at the last piece of our episode last week, but the media run Porter's been on this entire offseason, you didn't even know he could talk in Denver. Like, compared to this summer, you would think he'd go to the arena and then he'd be locked in a cage or something that wouldn't allow him to talk. Like, no one knew Michael Porter Jr. had this in him. And so you got to think Jokic and all. There's probably something behind the scenes. And for that statement in particular from Jokic, I definitely think that, okay, they're thinking this is a fresh start and they would much rather have Cam Johnson over Michael Porter Jr. I mean, it's going to be an interesting year in Denver. I'm excited for them. I think this could be, people might say, oh, maybe their championship window is shortened. I think this is still a championship window team. This is a finals or bust team. Even if they won a few years ago, this is still a team that can beat Oklahoma City and make their way to the finals and win it.
100%.
What about number 3? Where are you going with 3? I think things get interesting now, 3 and below.
Yes. I have the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay.
At number 3. I had, as of a week ago, the Houston Rockets. Had to bump them down a little with the Van Vliet injury. Still love that team. But, look, they have a clear one. Anthony Edwards is now annually one of the best playoff performers we see. The Michael Jordan comps come out every year. The question will be, like, their roster is great. Like, we know Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert. The question for me that I find interesting with them is like Rob Dillingham going to step up and replace Mike Conley as their as the guy who runs their offense, or one of the guys who runs their offense, and obviously, and Edwards does a lot of it too. They've just relied a lot on Mike Conley for the past couple of years. And it's been like, all right, he's 37 years old. He can still shoot, and he can still run an offense. But they drafted Dillingham fell to them in the draft, and it was considered like a steal, or it was a big deal for them.
Oh yeah.
And they have him. They also have Terrence Shannon, who was really good at Illinois. But that's going to be the big question for me. But I think they're just going to be a consistent top 4 seed as long as they have Ant and a good supporting cast around him. Obviously, they get a little bit of good fortune, in my opinion, as I had the Rockets above them, and now I moved them down. But I have the Timberwolves. Who do you have, Luke?
Yeah, so you might laugh at this one, and I might be buying the hype on these guys. I don't know. I got the Timberwolves right after, but I'm going Lakers 3 seed.
Oh, wow.
I might be buying the skinny Luka hype.
Skinny Luka.
The way I'm looking at it is, okay, LeBron and Luka get a full off season together. They get a full training camp together. That's got to be something. The Lakers were a 50-win team last year already.
Yep.
And, I mean, you and I talked about this right before we press record. A lot of these teams are going to be one game back of each other, half a game back, in that 50-win range anyway. For the Lakers, I mean, they added DeAndre Ayton. And I hate saying that because I'm not an Ayton guy at all. Yeah. I'm not a DeAndre Ayton guy at all. But I think it's probably an upgrade at center from what they had last year. I mean, they were relying on, Jackson Hayes minutes the majority of the time. I'm trying to think. I think they had another center, but whatever. It was Jackson Hayes. I think
they got
bringing
Kleber
DeAndre
in the trade, right?
Yes, you're right. I don't know. They also added Marcus Smart, a sneaky pickup. It's not going to be the Marcus Smart of 3-4 years ago, but I think that's a nice 3-and-D type of player. My biggest question for the Lakers is, again, we've talked about this, and everyone in the basketball world has talked about this. Luka's the number one guy. There's no discussion about that come this year. Luka's number one.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron cannot be your number two the entire season. Will Austin Reeves become a number two and a LeBron 2B? Maybe Reeves is 2A, LeBron's 2B. I mean, there will be points where LeBron can take over and become even a 1 if it has to come to that point. But I don't, for an entire season, you can't win like that. Will there be an option other than Luka this coming season that's number two and reliable? I mean, you can't expect LeBron to play all 82. He's going to be injured at some point. They'll take a few games off. Luka will probably be injured at some point. That top of the top billing for the Lakers, is someone going to step up? You had AD. He's obviously gone with the trade for Luka. That's my biggest point. But again, they're a 50-win team from last year. I think they can make some noise. I don't know. I might be buying into the Luka hype. I might be doing all of that, but I'm a little bit sold on the Lakers. I like them. I like them this year.
Yeah, I think you're right to me. I have them fourth.
Okay.
I couldn't put them above Minnesota because Minnesota waxed them in the playoffs last year, and so I just kind of had to see it to put them up. Luka's carried worse twos than LeBron James / Austin Reeves at times. So I think you're right to be bullish on them, to be honest. Ayton, I have no idea what to expect.
Right.
Neither was like Ayton. Like he didn't seem like he really cared at the end with Phoenix, and I didn't get the impression he really cared with Portland either. But why would you at the same time? So I have no problems with that at all. Actually, I have a fourth though.
Perfect. I'm right. I flip-flopped 3 and 4 from you. I got Timberwolves at number 4. And I know you mentioned them beating the Lakers in the playoff series. My reasoning for the Timberwolves is at number 4. And again, this was a toss-up between these two teams. Timberwolves, they didn't really do much this offseason. You alluded to it perfectly. How much are you going to rely on Mike Conley? Defensively, Mike Conley, you lost Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That's a big loss, especially defensively. Yeah. And having Mike Conley maybe step up in that role, a 37-38 Mike Conley. Like, you can't expect that. I expect Minnesota to be fine. My biggest thing for Minnesota is actually, I think they're going to be a middle-of-the-pack team throughout the year. I think they'll be one of the biggest teams to look at come trade deadline time. Because they're going to realize we have the superstar in Anthony Edwards. We have a team that got to the Western Conference Finals last year. They might be, right around where they want to be, or they might be a little below it come trade deadline. Are they going to go all in and be like, we believe in our team now? Or are they going to sit back and be like, maybe we just play it out the rest of the year? I think come trade deadline, we'll see what the mentality of the Timberwolves is for the entire season and what they think about this year compared to their future. Are they ready to give up some of their future assets for this year in particular? Or is it just like, hey, we got Ant, we'll just chalk this season up to wherever it goes and we'll see next year. So yeah. I think the Timberwolves are interesting in that regard. But yeah, mainly a lot of same stuff you said. I agree with the Timberwolves. Mike Conley, again, how much are you going to shoulder on his, load this season? Pause. That was crazy. That was crazy. Number 5, Vincent.
This is where I have the Rockets. I initially had them number 3. When I just jotted these down about a week ago, and then Fred VanVleet got hurt, and he's going to be out for the season. And I really liked the idea of them having, first of all, having Reed Shepherd come off the bench for his first real minutes as a pro, because he's really talented and can shoot the lights out. But I think it's just better that he's behind a guy like Fred. And I like the idea of them having the 3 young guys, Ahmed, Jabari, and Şengün, with 2 veterans in Durant and VanVleet, and now that's kind of changed. And now I'm kind of looking out are there guards they can trade for? Yeah. And yeah, that hurts badly. But Luke, I remember watching these games with you against when they played the Warriors in the playoffs in Syracuse last year, and the Rockets could not buy a bucket. And the question really is Kevin Durant, one of the greatest shot makers of all time, enough to get them those buckets they didn't get? And we'll see. Durant's about as good of a bet as you can make. I love that they made the trade. They were so loaded with young talent, but they had guys who were willing to give up. So I was cool with it. So that's what I have on the Rockets.
That I'm right there with you. I got Rockets 5, and same thing. I had them 3 before Van Fleet's injury, and then move them back to 5. I loved all the points you made. I got a question for you, and this might be something about me, the way I'm looking at it. Am I crazy? Even though I had him 3 before Van Fleet, am I crazy to think adding Kevin Durant for me nowadays doesn't move the needle?
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Okay.
It does. Obviously, it doesn't move me like it would 4 or 5 years ago when he was, maybe the best player in the league. It felt like not empty calories when he was in Phoenix, but it was just like Durant's gonna get his numbers, and it's not enough to overcome the things around him. And I think it would have been maybe he doesn't have as much gravity as he used to. Maybe that's the case, but they needed someone to get buckets, and they were already like good last year, so it's enough to certainly move them up in the rankings for sure. But also part of this is we're thinking Amen Thompson's going to get better, and Alperen Şengün's going to get better, and Jabari Smith is going to get better as well. And I think those guys. I mean, I think Amen is maybe the best like pound for pound athlete in the entire league right now. Would probably be my pick for defensive player of the year. And Şengün is like a mini Jokic. So hoping those guys continue on the trajectory they're on is a big part of this. And now they've got a veteran bucket getter. And guys always talk about the importance of having veterans around. And this is it. This is why you accumulated all those young players so you could make a trade like this.
Yeah. And this is no knock on Kevin Durant. We know the legend he is. And like Vincent said, he's the bucket getter that they didn't have last season. Just the way things have gone in Brooklyn, in Phoenix, what has happened in those situations that causes me to say, nope, Houston's where he gets back to the promised land, and especially in a loaded West we've talked about, and now without the starting point guard that would have been a big part of your team. For me, this is a nice way for Kevin Durant to probably end his career. Like this will be a competitive team for. I don't remember how many years he has on his contract, but for the rest of his time in the NBA, I don't anticipate him leaving the Rockets. So where do you see their ceiling? For me, I mean, I see second round, Western Conference Final. Not this year. I don't see Western Conference Finals this year, but maybe in 3 years, 2-3 years, Western Conference Finals is the ceiling. I don't know. Again, it's an aging Kevin Durant. He's great. He's a great player. I don't know if it just pushes the needle and tips you over the scale to beat a Thunder or beat a Nuggets team. I don't know. It's something maybe he'll make me eat my words this year. You know, I've always had a little bit of a grudge versus KD. I'm a LeBron guy. So when he went to Golden State, I've always had a little grudge against KD. But
yeah, who hasn't?
I think, hey, man, I respect him as a hooper. He's one of the greatest, of all time. Got to see a lot of his career. I just don't know. An older KD on this Rockets team, I don't know. I do like their additions. Dorian Finney-Smith, I think that was a really nice one. I think that was maybe as big as a loss for the Lakers as it was for the Rockets.
Yeah.
Defensively for the Lakers, he was big, and defensively for the Rockets, he'll be good. Josh Okogie, J.D. Davidson, Clint Capella returning to Houston. So it'll be a fun team. I don't think they'll be a 3 seed like they were in both you and mine predictions pre-Van Fleet injury, but they should be a fun team in Houston.
Did you know they have Jeff Green?
I saw that in Media Day. Because somebody asked Jeff Green in Media Day, they're like, you and Kevin have been in the league for basically 2 decades. And Green was like, oh, what? I love Jeff Green. I talked about, I'm a huge LeBron fan. I think that 2018 team that LeBron took to the finals, Jeff Green was my favorite player on that Cavs team other than LeBron. I think, and if I were to ask LeBron, do an interview with LeBron, one of my questions would be, in 2018, you had no Kyrie, you had a Kevin Love that was showing some washing and injured, had some concussions. Who was your go-to teammate? I would 1,000% say he would say Jeff Green. If you remember, that was the J.R. Smith year where he ran the ball back in a tie game. George Hill was on that team. Tristan, I think Jeff Green always has made winning plays, and I'm a big Jeff Green guy, so I'm excited to see him and Jeff Green together. Even
Also,
if I don't.
sorry,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
he was on with Durant in the Durant foot on the line game against the Bucks. He had like a career game. Like Harden was hurt, Kyrie didn't play, and Jeff Green had like the game of his life, and almost beat the eventual champion Bucks as like the second best player. Because Durant obviously went for like 50, but Jeff Green was like, because I remember Harden got hurt, he had like a hamstring issue, and obviously Kyrie wasn't playing. And they pushed the eventual champions to the limit with Jeff Green as a two. That's how good Durant was back in 2021 or whatever it was. He was probably maybe the best player in the league. But that's Jeff Green, man. Who doesn't love? He's probably not going to see a ton of minutes. They have a lot of good players, the Rockets, but Jeff Green.
And his story is incredible too. Just he had heart surgery, came back, and I mean he's been a number 2 with 2 of the greatest players of all time. Quick tangent. I think that Durant foot on the line is one of the basketball moments in our lifetime. It's like we'll remember where we were when we were watching that.
Yep.
Like I remember so clearly where I was watching that and being like, "Oh, he won it!" And then they show it, and it's like this much on the line. That's and just in the time because that was 2021. Yeah, no, that wow. I didn't realize. I forgot about Green having a big game.
He was unreal. Anyway.
Wow. Yeah.
16.
Good old Jeff Green. Hey, who would have thought we'd have got into Jeff Green like this on episode number 2? Hey,
We're
Jeff
real.
Green fan.
We got to get him on. We got to get him on the pod.
Oh, facts. That's Jeff Green, if you're watching, hit our line.
Please.
What about number 6, Vincent? Where are you going?
This is where I have the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
I would imagine you don't even like have them in the play-in. But
I got the Warriors on here. Don't worry.
Picked up Al Horford. So look out. Look,
beware, league, beware.
They need to find a way to bring Kuminga back. But look, they were pretty incredible after they got Jimmy last year. And then they, kind of ran into a buzzsaw, but they were a second-round team. The question is and always will be: is Steph Curry healthy, and is Draymond not suspended? And if those are the case, the Warriors have shown an ability to be a playoff team, and especially with I think the Jimmy Butler pickup, his salary is huge and he's old just like everyone else on the team, but he still was a massive net positive for them last year. And even though I don't like to bank on aging rosters, and there are a few in the Western Conference that I can get to, I think Curry still got it. Not like he used to have it, but he's still amazing. And Draymond and Jimmy will kind of just do their grinder thing, and it'll be good enough for a 6 seed.
That's okay. I got the Warriors in here, but not as high as 6. Do you know has Draymond played the Chinese basketball player yet? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The game, the 1-on-1 to 100.
Yeah.
Has that happened yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, because we'd probably know if it started because it wouldn't end for a few days.
I feel like we'd hear about it. I don't know.
Yeah. I got to keep an eye. You put that on pay-per-view, I might watch that.
Yeah.
I might pay $20 to watch Draymond versus a Chinese player just go 1-on-1 to 100.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll keep an eye on that. But you talked about aging rosters, and there's no roster that's more old than this one.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. We haven't talked Clippers yet. That's
who I'm going with. That's who I'm setting up. Okay. I'm going Clippers. Okay. That's where I probably just worded that, but yeah, I'm going Clippers 6. They're the oldest team in the NBA, and this is the team I am so confused on because is there going to be a punishment for Kawhi? I see things like, they could void his entire contract and he's banned from re-signing with the Clippers. Like, if that happens, no, they're not going to be my 6th seed. But as of this moment, as we're recording, no punishment has been talked about. No punishment has been laid down by the NBA and Adam Silver.
Yep.
And I got the Clippers at 6. Hey, okay, they got some names. They got Kawhi Leonard. They got James Harden, they got Chris Paul, they got Bradley Beal, they got the Unks, Brooke Lopez, right? This is an Unks team. But This is a Clippers team when healthy. They should do something.
Yeah.
Not a finals appearance, do something, but they should be a top 6 team and out of the play-in. On paper, at least, in my opinion. John Collins is their youngest player on the team, I think. That's your youth for you.
They have John Collins and Derek Jones on the same team. That's like the same guy. That's just like hyper athletic, can dunk from anywhere, doesn't really do much else. I have all the ages. I have the ages written down, Luke. Kawhi is 34, Harden 36, CP3 40, Lopez 37, Beal 32 but hates playing, Batum 37, Chris Dunn 31, Bogdanovich 33, and Zubac I think is like 28. Shout out to Zoo.
If Steve Ballmer was 5 years younger, he'd be the second oldest player on the team probably at this point. Like, geez, this is this is just basic, but injuries. Are they going to avoid injuries, this Clippers roster? Like, if they're healthy, they should win games. If they're not, then they shouldn't. It's just that simple. And whether or not they have Kawhi Leonard. Last year, Kawhi played. He played last year. He didn't do all the load managing as he usually did. Yeah. He was playing last year. Who knows if they'll even have Kawhi, but I got Clippers number 6. Where are you going, 7?
That's where I have the Clippers.
Okay. Yep.
Should Kawhi be jealous of Bradley Beal? Since Bradley Beal had a $50 million no-show job in Phoenix, and Kawhi's was only $28 million in LA. Bradley Beal had a pretty sick deal going on there. Just saying.
Phoenix is a nice place to live too for $50 million.
Devin Booker, you see Devin Booker's man cave?
Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah, not bad. Not a bad way to live. The question will be injuries and chances. I've followed the whole aspiration thing quite closely. It looks like if anything happens, it's gonna happen like after the Clippers host All-Star Weekend. So I mean, like, there's a chance Steve Ballmer's forced to like give up his team, or it gets like major financial sanctions. Like, it's pretty insane. But I don't know how much it's gonna affect things on the court. Kawhi was at media day yesterday, just like taking the fifth, just being like, that didn't happen. All right, Kawhi, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure Pablo Torre got him. But yeah, it's gonna be hilarious watching this team that would have been incredible in 2016. You couldn't put this team together in 2016.
Yeah. Wow. Think about if Ballmer has to give up that team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just bad luck to be a Clippers owner, apparently.
I shouldn't say I feel bad for Ballmer because he's the like 5th richest person in the world or something. There's no situation where I should ever feel bad for him. But he is like one of the owners that cares about their team and kind of cares like about the world a little bit. And there are so many, more than not, like the majority of owners in sports just don't care about like the team or the city, what it means to have a good team in your region, what it means to like how it like brings people together, what it means to have a fan base. He's put so much money, and it doesn't even make a dent in his bank account, obviously, but Ballmer, it seems like they circumvented the cap, but I'd hate to see Ballmer go, to be honest, because he actually cares, and that's like a rare thing among owners.
And we had stopped getting the great videos of him being baseline.
Yeah, I know.
Game going crazy. Come on, NBA. It's content versus like breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's lean in the way of content.
Yeah, I know.
No, yeah. I mean, he helped build that incredible Intuit Dome with the wall and everything. He's definitely one of the. You would want owners to be like Ballmer.
Yeah.
If you had owners 100%. Like Ballmer for all 30 teams, any league would be in such great hands. It would be insane.
Take it a step further. I want an owner that cares so much that he'll circumvent the salary cap. Ballmer just got caught, but just saying, I wouldn't mind it. The Sixers. I mean, if they force him out, buy the Sixers from Josh Harris, Steve. We'd love you.
I can't say too much because I think Pablo Torre said he's looking into Jalen Brunson next. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna hold my, I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut and be like, whatever you do, Pablo, like I'll slide you some money if you want to like forget about this
that was
investigation,
like
man.
every NBA fan was like, this is the most obvious like example. Like, what's Jalen Brunson's dad? Whatever. He's getting all the money.
Rick
Yeah,
Brunson.
Rick. I mean, someone check Rick's bank statements for God's sake.
Yeah, somehow Rick Brunson is the only holdover of the coaching staff last year for Mike Brown. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Thanasis is
Yeah.
back on the books though, so that's part of the
Right.
game.
So exactly. So we'll see if anything comes about there. But for number 7, I'm going with the Mavericks.
Wow.
I'm going with the Dallas Mavericks. I think the addition, obviously they're with Kyrie. They're without Kyrie for I think maybe even a little longer than the first half of the season. I know I think it was Jason Kidd saying yesterday because everyone has have seen Kyrie work out on social media and they're like, "Oh, he's ahead of schedule." Jason Kidd pumped the brakes. He's like, "No, he's not ahead of rehab right now." So they're going to be without him for the first half of the season plus. I do like they went out and they got D'Lo and Dennis Smith Jr. Two players individually that I'm not the biggest fans of, but I think when you have a roster with AD, PJ Washington, Derek Lively, and of course the number 1 pick, Cooper Flag, I think those can be, okay, let's plug these guys in for the first half, and then Kyrie comes back. Dennis Smith Jr. probably won't get any minutes. D'Lo will probably get some sparing minutes. I think the Mavericks should be a fun team defensively, especially. I just mentioned the 4 guys: AD, Flag, Washington, and Lively. Like that is I'd love to see the wingspan for those 4 guys combined.
Yeah.
That defensively, that will be a fun team to watch. Like any other Anthony Davis season, will he be healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Will he not be street clothes Anthony?
Mm-hmm.
Street clothes Davis, as Charles Barkley says. Interesting, but I could see the Mavericks being a real surprise team to make a run for not being a play-in team.
Yeah. I don't have them even in the play.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't trust AD's health. Flag's a rookie and it always takes time to adjust. And I do like Lively, but the West is so deep. I couldn't find a place for him that I really liked. What are the like? They could totally be in the playoffs. Like I see what you're saying. Your argument's good. What are the expectations for Flag? Like, what do you think of him as a prospect?
For me, I think Flag. There's going to be a transition period, of course. Like he's not going to be a LeBron scoring 25 his first night in Cleveland, right? That's just, and he shouldn't have to be because that's not the team. I just mentioned a lot of the guys on this team. He doesn't have to go out there and score 25. Like for Cooper Flag, I think a successful season is being a number 3 or number 4 option on this team when all healthy. Because Kyrie, AD are your 1, 2. I think if D'Lo gets going, he could be a number 3 option. I think for Cooper Flag, you average 16 to 17 points, like probably 6 rebounds, 3 assists, something like that. I think that's a great. It might not win you Rookie of the Year. You know, another player on a losing team might have better numbers and get that argument. I think for Cooper Flag, hey, if you're part of a winning team in Dallas, because the keys are going to get handed over to you at some point. You don't have to be number 1 guy first day. You shouldn't have to be. I think if you're a part of a winning team, a key element of this winning team that makes the playoffs, even the play-in, I think that's a successful rookie season for you.
I hate how part of me wants to like root against Dallas just because of like Nico Harrison constantly like pretending that he like meant, unless like there's some underhanded deals going on in that Luka trade, then why is he like pretending like they intentionally got the number 1 pick? And look, maybe their defense is going to be awesome. It might be, and you know, he likes to say defense wins championships, which is a football phrase, by the way. Like that's never been the case in basketball. Like since they banned hand checking, offense wins championships in basketball, right? The best offensive player in the league is the best player in the league. Whatever, doesn't matter. I hate the arrogance from Nico on that point. That's really annoying, and I don't know. I don't want to find myself rooting against them. It's tough for a number one pick to come into like a winning team. And actually, wait, that's not what I'm saying. I think it's easier because like a lot of the high picks are going to come in and it's going to be like, oh, this is the guy. All the media day stuff's going to be about him, and they're going to have to wait a couple of years until it works. But Flag can actually, I think, come along a lot quicker, especially being on a team with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has like such a well-rounded game. I feel like he can learn a lot from Flag can learn a lot from him, I think.
You stole the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say the same thing. I mean, he is the perfect mentor right in front of him, Anthony Davis. Like, literally, just be in the gym every single day with AD. Learn whether it be post moves, how to, step out for a three. Just setting defensively, learn from Anthony Davis as well. Like, you have the perfect mentor right in front of you. And, of course, for Flag, as I mentioned, you don't have to be due to scoring 23 points a night. That's not your role this season. Hey, if you're a contributor to a playoff team, that is a win because in 3-4 years, maybe even sooner, the keys are all yours. So just feel like you learn. Like, let me see how Dallas is. Let me see how winning basketball is. I think that's the biggest thing for Cooper Flag this year.
Yeah. That was your 8 seed. Was Dallas?
That was 7.
That was your 7. So I'll go 8.
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio Spurs. And this is dangerous because they have a lot of young, inexperienced players, and that's usually not viable for a playoff team. I just think Wemby is going to be one of the best players in basketball this year. Probably the most unstoppable defensive force already in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to see him and Dylan Harper together for the next 15 years. I think that's going to be awesome. And Steph Castle was amazing last year too. Like, they have these two great young guards, and they have Fox, which is, we'll see what that comes to because it's probably going to be weird having to play Harper, Castle, and Fox all together. But it's the most exciting future in the league, and I think Wemby is going to really get to that like top 10, borderline top 5 player in the league soon, which I think we just all have accepted he's going to get there. Barring injuries. And I think if he starts on that trajectory this year, then that's an 8 seed for San Antonio.
No, I got San Antonio at 9, but real quick, I'll say my 8. I got the Warriors. Okay. I do have the Warriors here. All they did was really add Al Horford. Obviously, they traded for Jimmy Butler last year. They were really good with Jimmy Butler last year. My biggest thing is what is going to be the end result of this Jonathan Kuminga, excuse me, not Kuminga. Shout out Justin. What's going to be the end of that drama? I like is he going, like, I think they were re-signing players, former picks 2 days ago, or I've seen some Shams tweet about that. It's like still nothing with Kuminga. Like, it's just so confusing to me. Is Steve Kerr, like, he must have done something to Steve Kerr, because Steve Kerr has a vendetta against playing him, and he's like shown in his minutes that he's a good player. I don't think he's probably worth what he wants. Like, I think his agent is probably using those minutes like, oh, if you do this, then you do plus the per 48, he's averaging 30 points or something like that. So, like, I don't think he's worth a crazy $100 million contract, $100+ million contract, but he's a very good piece. And if you want to make any noise, I think you need to have him. I just have no idea what their end result with him is going to be. And I mean, that drama is going to be something the entire season. So I got them at 8.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on San Antonio?
I got him at 9. And like you said, Wemby is going to be a top 10, top 5 guy. It's just, I mean, I watched him on Christmas Day, and it didn't take me until Christmas Day last year to figure this out. But when I watched him on Christmas Day against the Knicks, bomb 40-pointers, or he had 40+ points, but bomb 40 footers. Like, it's just like, what in the world do you do for this guy? Now you're building a team around him. It was Wemby and some outcasts, some misfits around him. Now it's Wemby and some guys. You mentioned all those guys. They also added Luke Cornett, a good guy from 3, Kelly Olynyk, veteran in the post. Those are things that matter. Will the young guys step up? Harper, Castle. And then they also have Devin Vassell, who got that big contract a couple of years ago. I mean, I don't know if he's lived all the way up to it, but if he can take a step up with these young guys, I mean, I got the Spurs at
Yeah,
9. They could actually make a interesting case to be a 7-8, in my opinion, if all those guys take a step up, and of course, if Wemby continues to level up as he's done.
it's noteworthy that this is the first year without Pop since
Yep.
90s. Uh, just I don't
Hmm.
know what that means for them like culturally, but things have been it's been a lot of losing lately with Pop, even though the team's been like devoid of talent. So Mitch Johnson's the new head coach. I think Pop's like he's always had like successors ready. So I don't think anything about like the Spurs ball movement, basketball culture is going to change. But it's worth
Right.
noting because Pop's one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah. So it's a new day in San Antonio, and this is really the team that could kick it
Yep.
off. It'll be interesting to see this year.
Yeah.
What about 9 for you?
I have Memphis here. I like there's a chance they could like bottom out. To be honest, like they traded Bane, right? They might just like start letting things go and commit to a tank. I still think highly of Ja and Jaren Jackson, and they added Ty Jerome, who's a great shooter. They just kind of have the look with Ja in the lineup, or with him like actually being able to play, at, of a like a perpetual play-in team, as long as they don't like commit to bottoming out. Ja's that good, Jaren Jackson's good, so that's where I have
Hmm.
them. I do have a question though, and it's kind of a philosophical one. What is John Morant's legacy thus far? And it's kind of a first take question, but I think you can really go kind of deep on it, like pause. But what's John Morant's legacy thus far in his NBA career?
That's a great question because I have Memphis 10, and my first bullet point for them is it's make or break time for John
Yeah,
Morant. Like you've had your seasons of leading the Grizzlies up to a top 2 seed. You've had your season of let me show guns every time I get on Instagram
yeah,
Live. You've had a season of hey, I'm going to be injured in and out, and sometimes I'll show flashes, and other times I won't. Like it's make or break time for John Moran. And if you look at his legacy in Memphis, I mean, like the only word that I could say is he's exciting. He's excited that team. He's excited that franchise, but no winning has come
yeah.
out of it. I mean, yeah, you had a fun regular season team that what they got bounced in the first round by was it first round or
I think
second round
second
from
round
Golden
against
State?
Golden State.
Yeah, because they beat Ant in Minnesota the first round, and at that point you're like, oh, I'm taking Jaws stock over Ant any day of the week. He just beat him head to head. All this like since then it's just been a free
So
fall.
good. People like a couple of years ago, it was like, all right, Ja was the number 2 pick, but I'd rather have this guy than Zion. Like that's
Yeah.
and maybe you'd still rather have what we'll get to them, but like that's how like Zion was considered like the generational prospect of his era, and within
Hmm.
3 years, it was like can't trust Zion. Ja's like already maybe the best guard in the league, and
Hmm.
it's weird how quickly, and this is the same case with another team. I have a 10. It's just weird how quickly things can go from like so positive and then like weird things happen that aren't even like injury related, and the entire franchise comes like kind of crashing down. And it's kind of sad to see because
Hmm.
what Memphis had with like the Bane and also Dylan Brooks and Steven Adams on that team,
Yeah.
it was special. And Ja was hurt in that series against the Warriors. The Warriors went on to win a title, but Ja was hurt in that series. Like they could have maybe given him some trouble. And 3 years later, here we are. You know,
Yeah, it's. I mean, you said it perfectly. How quickly things can change. Like it felt for half a second. Like these were the new age bad boys of the
yeah,
West. Like that's what that was their
yeah,
motto. Like they loved like being the physical team. Dylan Brooks talking trash. Even if he's getting torched, he's going to
yeah.
talk trash. And then
Ja took it too far.
that infamous. Yeah, and then the infamous John Morant interview. That
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
I'm all right in the
I'm
West.
good in
Yeah,
the West.
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, like you think about that, like what has happened to this team since, and they still got John Morant, they still got Jaren Jackson Jr., but Bane's gone, Brooks is gone, like Taylor Jenkins, their head coach,
Yep.
is gone. So it's just I don't know. I got Memphis sneaking in at 10, but this could be a team that a John Morant injury or maybe even a Jaren Jackson injury, and they bottom out. And John Morant might be on the trade block.
Yeah,
Like it might get to the point where Memphis is like, yeah, we're looking at our future. They got 4 first-round picks for the Bane trade. They might just be like, hey, it's run its course with John Morant. Maybe he finds a better career with a different team, but we're just going to cut our losses and go with the future. So we're going to have to see about for Memphis. What about you for number 10?
That's where I had Sacramento. Because a team
Okay.
with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine belongs in the play-in. It's how
Mm.
it should always be. The Kings are the ultimate bummer of a team when it comes to the talent they had and what they turned it into. Right? Obviously, they started out with Halliburton. They chose between him and Fox. They chose Halliburton. In the short term, or they chose Fox, sorry. In the short
Yeah.
term, it led to a really fun season for the Kings with Sabonis and Fox and Malik Monk and Light the Beam and all that. And they lost in 7 games in the first round. And it was like, are they building something? And they're not. And then they cut their losses on Fox last year. And it's like, you guys had, like, at one point, 2 of the most exciting young guards in the league. And now you got none of them.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got DeRozan and LaVine, who, like, it's proven concept. Both of those guys, like, it's not going to work. It's not going to make you, like, anything close to a contender. Sabonis will still be good. They got Dennis Schroeder, who was really just trying to make up for the bag that he lost 4 years ago by going to be a starter for the King. Like, Schroeder could go be, like, a nice backup point guard for, like, any good team in the league, but instead he's going to go get starter money
Mm-hmm.
on a really lame team. And all that said, these guys are all, like, talented enough to get to a 10 seed. So that's where I have them.
That's no, with the West. I mean, Sacramento's very, very fine 10 seed. It's just I have the Mavericks. You have the Kings, and it's guess what? They'll probably be 2 games apart from each other this season. It's just hey, what team might go on a hot streak? Yeah, no, it's Levine and DeRozan. I mean, those two.
They tried it.
Right. Like they gave it a shot. Like that was a fun run. I mean, they were a game 7 that Steph Curry had 50 plus points on their head in Sacramento away from going to the second round after not being in the playoffs for how many years, right? So, yeah, it might be.
It's a bummer.
I don't know. Yeah, it's Sacramento. They're an interesting.
Go through your top 10 just so we can recap.
Yeah, let me pull this right back up. I got number 1, OKC. Number 2, Denver. Number 3, the Los Angeles Lakers. Number 4, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Number 5, the Houston Rockets. Number 6, the LA Clippers. Number 7, the Dallas Mavericks. Number 8, the Golden State Warriors. Number 9, the San Antonio Spurs. And then finally, number 10, the Memphis Grizzlies.
Gotcha. So I have Thunder, 2 Nuggets, 3 Timberwolves, 4 Lakers, 5 Rockets, 6 Warriors, 7 Clippers, 8 Spurs, 9 Grizzlies, 10 Kings. I do want to talk about the Pelicans.
Go, floor is yours. Go right ahead.
First of all, Zion and Jordan Poole in the same city. It's gonna be like, I mean,
aren't they going to Are they in Dubai for their preseason? I saw a video of. I think they were entering a plane, and Zion's like, "I'm excited to have this guy," and someone's commented, they're like, "Yeah, those 2 mans in New Orleans are about to go crazy with Zion and Jordan Poole."
yeah.
So, like, I think they might be in Dubai for preseason, but no,
just off the bat, that's exciting. Skinny Zion. We got skinny Luka. We also have skinny Zion. Does that move you at all, or I don't trust his joints, but. What do you think?
I hate to say this, but I've kind of moved on from Zion. Like, even his season where he was an all-star starter.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Then he was injured for the second half of the season. Like, to me, it's give me Vincent. We grew up with Zion coming up, right? Like, we saw him in high school. We saw him at Duke. We saw him in the NBA. When you think Zion Williamson, is the first highlight that comes to mind an NBA highlight?
It's him bursting through his shoe at Duke. Yeah.
Yeah. It for me, it's a Duke highlight. It's like he had a dunk against Clemson or something. And then I even go back to a high school highlight, like him doing high school, like There is no NBA highlight for Zion
Yeah.
Williamson that comes to mind when I think about him. Like, for a guy that was, you mentioned earlier, considered generational, like this far in his career, that I hate to say it, but it's kind of been a failure. And it's amounted to no winning for the Pelicans as well.
And what's sad about it is like Zion never really plays badly for the Pelicans.
Mm-mm.
Like I don't know, his career averages are like in the mid-20s. Like he always plays pretty well. He hasn't been like disappointing. He hasn't. You can't call him a bust for what he's done on the court, but the guy's he's never been healthy. I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, now that he's slimmed down, it's like okay, so you were out of shape. Like you weren't just like keeping muscle on or something. It's like you kind of admit it in that sense. He says he feels as good as he's felt since college, but his joints probably aren't the same. And it's even though he's still like a dominant physical player, he doesn't have the same like bounce that he did at Duke that made him so special. So it's like he's not even like box office anymore. It's sad to say, man. But they have DeJounte Murray also. I don't know if that like means anything to you, but yeah.
I like DeJounte Murray. I don't like him when he's on a losing team because I don't think he's a number 1 or a number 2 guy. I think DeJounte Murray is he's a Drew Holiday. He's a Drew Holiday type of player. He could be a 3 some games, or he's most likely a 4 that can play defense at the guard position. Not as good as Drew Holiday, but he can play defense at a guard position, and he can lock down if he wants to. But I mean, I don't know if he's definitely not the number 1 or 2 between Zion and Jordan Poole on this team, but like you compare those 1 and 2s to say a Boston 1 or 2, like he's gonna have to play major role, and I don't love that for a DeJounte Murray type of player, and I like him as a player, but if you have so much stress on, I don't know, but it doesn't move the needle for me. What's your predictions for him? Do you think Zion stays healthy? Do you think is there any chance? Yeah, I mean, you just look at the track record.
Yeah. Speaking of Drew, do you think there are any guards out there that Houston should trade for? I was thinking about this. Like Sexton is kind of stranded in Charlotte. He's like a good defender. If they really want to go for it, Derek White, but you have to ship a lot of stuff for him, including probably Van Vliet. I don't know. It's just something to think about. Like I think the Rockets realize like KD's under a short contract. They got to go like now. So could be interesting.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that's definitely something to look at throughout the season because I mean we might be saying, hey, they're playing well or their front line is playing well, but they need production from their backcourt or they need something from their backcourt, and we might see at the trade deadline they'll either go for it all or they'll just go with a veteran, so that's a good question. Yeah. I don't know. The West will be fun this year. Yeah. That's all I know. The West is going to be fun. I think we both feel the most confident though in OKC and Denver.
100%.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
We haven't even talked this is how deep the West is. Like we haven't even mentioned like Devin Booker and the Suns. Not that I think the Suns are going to be any good, but good for Booker. He's like right at home again, just being surrounded by scrubs. Like, good for him. Shout out to him.
Like, I don't know. Like, is it crazy? I've never been a huge Devin Booker guy. There's something about him that kind of irritates me.
I mean, I could see it.
And I love the mid-range. I love the mid-range.
I felt like we learned a lot about him in that the 2021 finals run and the season after too. Like at that point, he was one of the 7, 8 best players in the league. He might not be that anymore. He might still be. He's just on bad teams, but never good enough to just quite get over the top, I guess. With some good teams.
How old is
Booker's still like 29, I think. I don't think he's hit 30.
I was gonna say I don't even think he's hit 30 yet. 28. He turns 30 in a month on October 30th. He turns 29 now. On October.
He's been around.
Forever. We could see, he has enough time where we could see a resurgence where I don't think it could be with the Suns. I think he would have to be shipped out somewhere else if he wants to get over the hump. But we could see because he's still going to be a valuable player for the next 4 years.
Unless
4 or 5 years,
Green
maybe.
Gets really good really fast. I don't think he's going to
happen. Hey, man. Let's just hope Dre and Michelle, is cooking some good
Yeah,
meals.
are they still
50-year-old
even
baby.
together? I mean,
I saw some video of them arguing at the club, or like,
is this
why
just
she
what
at the
happens in
club?
Houston? Like
Because
like a year ago, CJ Stroud was with Amber Rose. Like, is this just Houston
I don't think
as a
Houston's
as
not for
a
the weak.
lifelong Northeasterner who's
It's,
never been to the South?
I've said this at least like when I've thought about like rap, and I think just culturally, I think like the city closest to
Houston?
Atlanta is Houston.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
that could be dangerous, especially for a
Yeah,
young
geez.
athlete. So we will see. But Western Conference preview. Woo! Well, I mean, it's going to be a fun year in the West. I mean, the standings are going to be up, down,
Yeah.
all over. We're thinking Thunder, Nuggets. We're most
Mhm.
confident in, definitely. But there's some fun teams. Like I got the Mavericks.
They're
Making
gonna
a
be a
little bit of
fun
a run
watch
this
for
year. You
sure.
got the Warriors. Yeah. You got confidence
do.
in the Warriors. I'm not all
You're
the
a
way there
commentator.
yet. So
It's that simple, man.
I respect the guy. I respect the guy.
Yeah.
Don't like him. Don't like. I'll leave it at that. Maybe that'll be
Mhm.
next episode. But appreciate everyone tuning in for this Western Conference preview. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and comment below who you think will make a run this year. Appreciate your time. And Court Vision will be back with a new. Hey, we might get some preseason. We'll have some preseason basketball next time
Yeah.
we talk.
Exciting.
And then NBA season coming right along. So appreciate everyone tuning in. That's all we got for you. Peace. We're out.